Well, good morning, guys. Today we are going to work on the GT500. That's right. What's in the box, Alex? What's in the box? Well, you can guess by the size of the box what is happening here. I have always thought that this car's major issues are this guy. Now, let me explain to you what the issues are with this car, because maybe you're not aware. Don't mind the leaf blower. My people are out there doing their thing, giving you the sound of my people. So 4.5 liter Whipple supercharger, obviously an older unit, obviously an older rotor design, obviously it's been modified by Power by the Hour and the previous owner to be ported. But what's happening with this car when you're at wide open throttle going down the track is the throttle starts to close. Now the throttle generally starts to close due to harmonics, right? The motor has a really tough time keeping the blade open when it's sucking in a whole bunch of air, generating 30 pounds of boost. This thing is spinning at ridiculous RPMs. The lobes are whipping, creating crazy resonance, crazy harmonics, crazy sounds. And the car is probably needing to give up 80 to 90 horsepower to drive this unit. I get it, it gives us back 500 or 600 horsepower, but in the meantime, what's happening is I am limited to shifting this car at about 6,800 to 7,100 RPMs. This is a race motor. This is 10-to-5 compression, L&M NSR cams, ID 1700s. This is a badass motor. This should be able to be revved up to 75, 6, 7,700, but I can't because the throttle starts to shut. Oh, here we go. We got Consuelo over there doing his thing. So what happens is I am giving up RPM and potentially some gains due to the fact that I can't rev it up as high as I want, and it's costing the motor some extra power to drive this supercharger. So what I'm gonna do, I had to wait a little bit. The landscapers were making a whole bunch of noise, so I had to go do some errands and came back a couple hours later, got it done. So what I'm gonna do is a couple of things. First of all, I'm gonna get this Billet Pro Shops billet idler situated on there for a little belt wrap. Now, not that this is having belt wrap issues. If you can see, it has a pretty good amount of belt wrap. Could it always use an auxiliary deal here? Sure. But I don't think it needs it right now, and I think it goes down there. Those two bolts I think get replaced with this guy, because it looks, no, maybe not. I'll have to see. Oh, right here. So this idler looks like it might get replaced because this is a little bit bigger. And the reason I got this idler is because I'm going to go ahead and put a TVS back on this car. I've always been a proponent of the TVS. I've told you guys forever that TVS's just impressed me. Bang for the buck, and what do you call it? Pound for pound, they're unbeatable. You know, like pound for pound, this blower makes great power. 2.6 liter TVS rotor pack. Now, this is one of the first versions VMP came out with before they went ahead and upgraded their casting to Magnuson stuff. So, what is the goal? Number one, get this guy out of here because I think it's taking too much power away from the car to make any decent power. IATs are high, and weight. This thing is a big honking monster, and I think the resonance of the rotors buffeting against each other inside the case are causing some weird harmonics for the throttle body to work properly. So I'm hoping that by installing this guy, I don't think I'm going to make more power, but I think I'm going to make similar power and maybe have a little bit less of an IAT issue, a little bit less. It might make more power because of less parasitic loss, let's be honest, but that's not the main goal. The main goal is to get the weight, IAT, and potentially RPMs on the TVS rotor pack maybe are less resonant than this current one, and it'll keep the throttle open at about 7,600 RPM. So if I put this on with a 2.4 upper and it makes anything over 1,100, because that's what this guy made, I am keeping the TVS on the car. Obviously, this is John Lund's. I said, can you ship it down for a test? He goes, sure, shipped it down for a test. Great guy. If this guy makes similar power. Now, again, I know people from Whipple might be like, well, you're not comparing apples to apples. 3.5 pulley, 10 rib. So I am not going to pulley down because IATs are kind of hot on this guy, to the point where it needs an ice tank to have IATs be under 150, 160 for it to, you know, make decent power. So if this guy's creates similar power with less IAT, obviously going to keep this one, sell that one. Yeah, sell it. Definitely sell it. Probably sell it to MFP Australia. Those guys are always putting big, massive Whipples on things. And get it out of here. It does have a Whipple flange. Now, that's one thing. This one has a I'm sorry, not a Whipple. A Kenny Bell adapter flange. And this car has a Kenny Bell 168 because Jake made an adapter on the Wilson Manifold's ported elbow so that it could accept a Kenny Bell mono, because it is the one that seems to be the most consistent out of all of the big over 150 millimeter throttle bodies. Even though this one's having some closing issues at Watt because of the harmonics, I'm hoping that the TVS will take care of it. Okay, when you have fancy stuff, you basically have more work. So I'm gonna have to undo the rail. It's a 4 Innovations fuel rail with ID 1700, so I'm gonna have to get to this bolt back here. It's kind of being a pain in the ass. Oh, nice zoom. Man, this phone is badass. And I'm gonna have to undo this guy right here so I can get a straighter shot at this guy. So once I take these off, then I can go ahead and take off the bolts right here. You know, these fuel rails are nice, I'm not gonna lie. 4 Innovations makes super killer stuff, and I really like these fuel rails. I'm probably gonna do the smart thing and take these injectors over to Havoc and have them cleaned. Why not, right? I'm here, might as well get them cleaned up. So that's what I'll do. I'll take these guys out, get everything serviced, get some nice clean injectors in there, cleaned and all that stuff. Havoc Speed out of Riviera Beach, good people, and they have a nice cleaning machine. Get these guys cleaned up and flowed, and then I can put them back in. So kill many birds with one stone. So okay, enough bullshit. Now I can get to these bolts a lot easier once these are gone. So I can get a wrench in there and get some good torque on it. That was the issue I was having. I was trying to be lazy, but had to do the job, and at the same time get the injectors cleaned up. Why the hell not? Oh hell yeah, baby. Oh yeah, you like that? You know what's funny about this car, guys? This car feels old. You know what I mean? Like the injector plugs, like, even though it's a really nice car, you know, it's a 8,000 mile GT500. It feels, because, you know, I work with Coyote stuff and newer stuff or whatever, and it just, I get this feeling that I'm working on basically a Cobra, which kind of is. Let's be honest, it's kind of just a modern Cobra. But yeah, it's kind of a freaky thing to experience, me kind of like taking these off. They were tough. I was like, is it tough because it's never been done, or because the car's old? So I don't know. Yeah, things to think about while I wrench on the car. Just when I thought I had all the bolts out, I might have to remove all that plastic to get to the back bolt of this stupidly big supercharger. It's not going back on ever. Even if that thing makes less power, this is never going back on, because after removing it, it is ridiculously big and dumb, and I'm one of these guys that likes easy, meaning serviceable, meaning well thought out. And no offense to Whipple, this is an old design, so they don't have to co-sign on it anymore. This is just pure stupidity. Just big, dumb, big, dumb, you know? So I'm gonna take the cowl plastic off, get to that last bolt, get it the freaking hell out of there, and start putting the TVS in. But I'm gonna have to do that tomorrow because I'm running out of daylight, and I have a dating channel live stream in about 45 minutes. Yep, I do it all. So let me see what I can do now. And the next thing you'll see is super bright sun and me working on it again to put the TVS on the car. Alrighty, gentlemen, that will be it for tonight's activities. Tomorrow, I'm going to go ahead and get the injectors serviced at Havoc. Hopefully they can do it in a day. If not, no big deal. I'll try to get it done ASAP. I'll test fit the TVS on, and if the TVS can go on and I could put the fuel rails in after the fact, which should be the case, actually, you know what? There's no better time than the present, right? Why wait around and do bullshit? Let's just quickly test fit it and see, you know, for tomorrow's sake, how bad the job is going to be so that I can be prepared for it. Let me place the phone somewhere precariously so you guys get a decent shot of it. Dang it. I just don't want to set up the GoPro. The GoPro to me is like not as great quality, but here we go. All right, let's bring the guy in. Let's test fit it right away, and I'll give you a shot, and then we'll pick up back tomorrow. Oh my God, way lighter, like 20 pounds lighter? Easily 20 pounds lighter. Okay, so let's see what's going on. What are you hitting? Oh, the stud, look at it. So that needs to be an actual bolt, not a crow's foot thing. Something's hitting. I gotta figure out what's hitting. Interesting. So it looks like I'm gonna have to machine down something. Ah, yes, I remember that. That was an issue. Hey, ¿cómo está?
Ando ahorita.
Siempre. So this is a learning moment because the TVS is wider than the Whipple. And I remember distinctly VMP having a tool to cut this guy down. Now, I'm not gonna cut that guy down with a tool. I do have a Dremel. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna clearance that guy with a Dremel. That's good because then tomorrow I can come and really bring down that material quite a bit. And I think I can do it with the Dremel pretty easily because it's aluminum. So there you go. That's one good thing about test fitting it before waiting. So right now, as it sits, I need to clearance that guy right there. I'll get back at it tomorrow, but right now, I'm gonna get cleaned up, get the dating channel going, and then we'll come back and clearance that with a Dremel. It looks like the fuel rails will fit nicely. No. They have to go on first. The fuel rails absolutely have to go on first. So I'm gonna have to wait until the injectors are done and see if they can actually service them same day so I can get back after it. Pulley doesn't look great, might need a grip tech. The other thing I gotta worry about is belt length. That's right, belt length. But that's why I bought the billet adapter, the Billet Pro Shops idler, but I don't think it'll be enough, so I'll have to do that. So plenty to do. Clearance that, get the injector serviced, get it bolted on. It doesn't look nearly as big, but it definitely looks like it belongs there. All right, let's get back after it tomorrow. Okay, day 2 of working on the GT500. And I flipped the Whipple supercharger, and oh my God, I cannot believe the amount of oil this thing sucks in. And this is a very good lesson to be learned if you guys do not put a catch can where this guy goes. It's literally sucking oil from here because this goes into the cold air, right? Boop, goes into the cold air, and it's vacuum. Okay, it's all vacuum. It's all sucking. So it's sucking the oil right out from the engine into the blower. So you absolutely have to have a catch can there. There's just no other way about it. Now this is supposedly a low vacuum bypass. So what I'm going to try to do, I don't know if it transfers over to the TVS, but this is, wanted to show you guys the bypass situation on the Whipple. This Whipple is going to be for sale. Let's be honest. I'm going to sell this guy with a big, massive Wilson manifold inlet, and just as it sits. So if it makes, actually I don't care if it makes a lot more power or not. Even if it makes the exact same power, I'm going to sell it. It's just it's a nice blower, but it's just big and heavy and old technology. So I'm going to see if I can use this bypass. I don't think I will, but we'll see what the TVS one looks like. But before I do any of all that crap, I gotta clearance this guy. So today's gonna be clearancing, test fitting, making sure everything fits properly. It looks like it has to come over quite a bit, see? So I'm gonna have to work really hard to get this guy clearanced big time in that slot. This whole neck has to get clearance quite a bit in order to meet the bolt pattern. So I'm gonna get the Dremel out. I don't know if I should take that bolt out. I'm probably not gonna take that bolt out, and see if I can get this guy shaved down enough so that I can actually get the blower to fit properly. It is kind of funny to see the area where the actual rotors are making any kind of steam is actually bigger on the TVS than it is on the 4.5 liter. 4.5 liter, that you could physically see the area is smaller where boost happens, because, and the 2650, and just by feel it takes a lot more to turn the 4.5 obviously than the 2650. Obviously this guy's going to spin at a lot higher RPM too, so don't let the size fool you. Just because it's a lot smaller doesn't mean it can't generate the proper amount of airflow. This thing just has displacement, big massive rotors that just do the work. This thing has a tighter lobe design, and actually you could even see that the lobe shape is totally different and tighter on the TVS than it is on the Whipple setup. So all right, let me keep going, transferring parts over. Less talking, more work as always. Okay, I did a little bit of clearancing. You can see the aluminum everywhere. I took the Dremel tool, I covered everything up with paper, a ton of paper down. Didn't want to video it because honestly, that's just filler at this point. I'm clearancing this with the Dremel tool because it needs it for that guy to fit in so that it could fit in the bolt pattern. That's, I think VMP sells a tool, like a cutting tool that you grab it with a drill and get this guy all the way down there. I didn't want to wait. I think I can just clearance that and still be able to use much of this guy here to still put the original bolt back in. So a Dremel tool and some patience. So I'm gonna go ahead and take a little more material out, because this is one big hunk of cast, and you know, no water is running through that. It's running through the center. So on the outside, I think you're okay. So I'm gonna make sure I clearance that much more, but not more than I need to, you know what I mean? And then make sure that fits the bolt pattern properly. Then I got to figure out this situation here. This here needs a nipple for the reference for the bypass, if I'm not mistaken. Oh no, this is vacuum. The bypass stuff, it comes from this other hose over here. The bypass comes from this, and that comes all the way around to the fuel pressure sensor, front of the blower, all the way through. Oh, so it's a boost reference, but where's it grabbing the main boost reference from? Interesting, let me go check. Ah, here we go. Oh wait, no, that's a boost sensor. So, this one went to the bypass. So how is the bypass going to see any boost? I mean, I'll put it on and see how it goes. This guy, I'm sure, has something to do with it. So I got to remember how I put everything together. But it definitely has more hookups than the Whipple did. Because when you look at the back of the Whipple, it has the EGR block off and that. So I'm thinking I'm missing some hoses back here that are responsible for the actuation of the bypass. So I want to make sure I don't screw that up. Where's the nipple going? Nipple's going the opposite way. Okay, so I'm gonna have to more than likely redo the boost reference stuff for the fuel pressure regulator, the fuel system, everything. So I'll get with Jake on that. I'm gonna head down to Jake's, see what we can do on this blower to get a nipple on there with a hold down plate and some kind of O-ring, and go from there. So yeah, it's not a direct bolt-in situation. You have to reconfigure some stuff. Now, if they had the original TVS on it, yep, bolt it in, hook everything up. It had a Whipple and it had to reconfigure a whole bunch of stuff. So now I'm gonna revert it back to a TVS, and I'm gonna have to redo some of those lines there. Okay, after clearancing this guy, I realized that the stock bolt's not going to work because it's not grabbing enough onto the shoulder and it's twisting sideways. And this is part of the lower intercooler. So I'm going to have to make sure I've machined this whole thing down so that I can get a way smaller bolt down there under the supercharger to fit properly, because the stock bolt's too long and it's exposed and only a bit of the shoulder's grabbing. But I was able to clearance it. That's as good as I can clearance it. And the bolt pattern, I thought I got it. Let's go look. Yep. Okay, so boom. Bolt pattern. Actually, it's a little too far forward, so I got a little room to go. Everything looks good. Okay, so I definitely have to do some machining there. But right now, what I want to do is figure out what's going on back here, because back here, I need some kind of nipple that the Whipple had cast into it. This looks like just like a regular, I think for this guy, for the brake booster. I think that's, or this could be for the brake booster, because see, it's right there, you know, it's, but I don't know. And this is not seeing boost, this is seeing vacuum only. This is supposedly seeing vacuum only. So I got to figure out the whole boost situation. So I'd have to look at a stock setup to mimic it, because when they put the Whipple on this thing, it changed everything. So I'm kind of reverting back to how it was configured stock. So I'm gonna go to Jake's real quick, see if there's something we can make up for that. I don't think so. He's not set up to do any kind of work on this stuff, but I want to get a second set of eyes on it and see if I can figure it out. Okay, after a couple of days, I received my belt. Amazon, 70 bucks. Not 160 bucks like it was everywhere else. 70 bucks. Amazon. Now what I'm going to try to do is put the auxiliary idler in place. So I already tried it. The belt's nice and tight. It's really wonderful. But I want to make it super duper tight. So I want to make sure this billet BPS idler, Billet Pro Shops idler, auxiliary idler, goes in, gives it that extra tension on the snout, because it is a smaller diameter pulley. So I want to make sure no slip happens, because the Whipple had a big honker on there and it was less prone to belt slip. So let's see if this guy goes on okay. Okay, tons of progress. Got the Billet Pro Shops auxiliary idler installed. Got the 40, wait, what was it? Is it a 70-inch belt? What was it? 83 and 5/8 belt on there, or 83 because that's the part number. I forgot this thing has an actual AC idler pulley, so it's not going to be that far off what it would be as if it had an air conditioner in it. I'll eventually go ahead and put the AC back in it, I think, because it's going to be more of a street car. Okay, the last thing I got to do is cover up this guy. So there's a hole right here, right there, that guy. And I ended up buying which reluctantly, I really didn't want to give them a dime. Nothing against them. I just don't want to have to buy parts that I don't feel I have to. But I didn't have anything that had this diameter. And this is basically an O-ring fit EGR tube. But this doesn't have any of that shit. And I'm trying to, get it plugged up so that there's no unmetered air coming through. So I'm going to go ahead and put this guy in and cap it, and the O-ring should hold it in place because it's vacuum all the time. And after that, we'll see if we can start the car after I get the belt on the blower. The nice thing about this kit is if you end up getting a blower and you don't have any of the hardware, well, this hardware kit is going to run you about 120 or so bucks, but it should have everything you need for everything. Literally run an adapter on it. Has hardware for the blower. It has hardware for I think the fuel rails. It has the crossover line that comes stock on these cars. So all I needed was two things: that little vacuum plug and the what was it? The bolt, the extra bolt that ended up going over there by the water neck. So we're good to go. Get the belt on. Hopefully she starts right up. All right. So I have this guy down here already. Yep, belt is on tight. Yeah, oh man. So it's on there. On there. Wow. Well, you want it tight, but you wonder, like, at what point is it too much? You know what I mean? This guy underneath. Let's get in that pulley. Oop. Dropped it. Dropped you. And oh no. Let me get the shot. This is the hard thing. Like, you guys don't understand. I gotta get the shot. So, magic's in the editing. Okay. Ooh-wee. All right. So it looks like everything is where it needs to be. The BPS auxiliary pulley is doing exactly what I was hoping. Give it that extra little tension there. Oh, this guy's problem is, I think it's on the, oh no, I gotta bring that pulley in a little bit on the rib. Make sure the crank is good. Let me get a flashlight. Yeah, it's good on the crank, I think, as it goes up through here. Okay, okay. Let me crank on it, make sure it's good on all the ribs, then we'll start her up. The engage. So that's what I'm gonna get it running, get it warmed up. Fuel lines, everything good, and catalog with the engage. Once you get a chance, the engage will tell me if there's vacuum leaks or not. Walking very slowly because I got clean clothing on. See how it goes. Definitely a lot quieter. If you noticed on the Whipple, very whiny. So now I can hear that header leak a lot more clearly. Smooth, like no noise. But some people might like it, some people might not. I don't care if it makes noise, I care if it makes power. Is a lot quieter. I am saying night and day quieter. What I'm gonna move it outside, data log it, because I don't want to die in here with the carbon monoxide poisoning. I'm gonna step over something. Whoa, what's going on out there? Oh, it's a lot quieter. Oh, there goes the toolbox. Toolbox. I made a mess of the toolbox over there. My goodness. Okay, let's see what. Let's see diagnostics, data logging. Yeah, sure. Wait, isn't there a GT500? There you go. So what I want to look for is short trims. Make sure there's no high numbers. You know, showing me that there's a vacuum leak somewhere. Look at that. Short-term fuel temps are within acceptable limits. Very, very nice. What are long terms when they're off? It's race car shit. So, fueling is good. That means no vacuum leaks. That is so, so nice. Let me data log it. Make sure everything's good for a little bit. Data log the idle. Leave it up there for a little while. Let it do its thing while I check things over underneath the engine bay. Okay, so it's so quiet up here, except for that stupid exhaust leak, which I'm not going to be able to do the headers, because the headers, pretty sure you got to drop the K member to do, and I'm not going to do that in the garage. No way. But look at this, very good, looking really good. So, okay, I mean, I'm not going to get into the dyno for at least a week or two. There's mod nats and a bunch of other projects ahead of it, but I swapped over the blower, which is the main reason I did this. I also want to eventually take it to an exhaust shop and let them fix this issue, because there's always one dangling lower than the other, and honestly, I don't have time to get on my back and fuck around with it too long. Sounds good though. So there you have it, guys, a little TVS blower swap. I'm going to be putting this guy on the dyno, and the goal is the following. If it makes 1100, that's a winner. If it makes over 1100, it proves that it's more efficient than an old school Whipple with a 3.5 pulley. I get it. People will say, why don't you put a 3.8 Whipple on it? I don't care. I want a TVS. That's what I want. So a little 2.6 making similar power to 3 or 4 liter blowers all day, every day. All right, guys. So hopefully you guys stuck with me for a little bit while I got you some blower swap fun. Be on the lookout for this thing getting on the dyno, this thing getting replaced, because I don't want to support that fucking company ever again. I'm going to put like a PMAS 149 on it. I think another company sells a complete unit, so I'm going to go do that, tune it, get that fucking thing out of there, maybe do a giveaway, who knows, but I'm definitely going to get it out of this. All right, that's it for now, guys. Thanks for listening. Talk to you guys later.